Hi everybody, first off, there will be an update next week. We'll talk about the transition of the channel. Don't worry, it's not going to be a black and white change. And most importantly, we're going to talk about what all this cancer data means in terms of my prognosis. So stay tuned for that. Alright, on to the restaging. There are two values that have come in. Number one is the 24-hour urine protein electrophoresis, and number two is the bone marrow biopsy. To the protein electrophoresis number, before the stem cell transplant, we showed a value of 0.8 grams in a 24-hour period of the M protein, and after the stem cell transplant, that had dropped down to less than 0.1 gram in the 24-hour period. Excellent, in the right direction. Very good news. To the bone marrow biopsy, let me just refresh your memory. That is the definitive assay of my cancer load, these plasma cells in the bone marrow. So not an indirect measurement, a direct measurement of the cells by a pathologist. Recall, back in September of 2018, I had this astronomical value of 100% of my bone marrow being plasma cells. After the 2 protocols of chemotherapy, I think 11 cycles worth, we had dropped that down to 50%. Great. Then we had the stem cell transplant. What was it after the stem cell transplant? I put all this data in the table up here. Alright, you can see the last value, less than 5% of my bone marrow was plasma cells. When you think that a normal person has 2 to 3% plasma cells in their bone marrow, and I'm showing less than 5%. Excellent news. That would, data in and of itself would almost give me a complete response. But when you take all the data, because I'm still showing the M protein in my serum and in the urine sample I just talked about, as it's defined, I had a very good partial response to all of the chemo. That's the 2 protocols plus the stem cell transplant. Remember, that's really a high dose chemo protocol. That's great. Very good news. In terms of the restaging, I have dropped a stage. So I've gone from stage 3, the worst possible scenario, down to stage 2, and really almost stage 1. I met 3 of the 4 criteria for stage 1. My oncologist said of all this data, Gary, you are improving. And again, he said he's never seen anybody with as high of a concentration of plasma cells in their bone marrow and an M protein as I had. So that's saying a lot. I've improved, a ways to go, and we'll talk about what this means in terms of the prognosis next week. I'll give a little bit more details. Stay tuned. I'm happy. Hope you are too. Comments below